guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, first off let me say hello. I am Nisha and I hope you are here for today's video banger. We are doing 31 days of beauty here on my channel for the month of October. This is my style of Vlogtober. Yeah, so 31 different makeup looks, 31 different palettes. So there's some old visits that I'm visiting from my collection, and I've also been trying out new releases as well, so that way you guys don't have to try it out. So today is one of those videos. Yeah, so this is the Anastasia new palette. Okay, so we're trying out this Primrose palette. The name is interesting first off, but I've seen a lot of good swatches wise on Instagram and of course on YouTube as well. But again, nobody around my skin tone. I was like, can this be a good palette for the Melanie complexion? You know, the Melanie family, you know? So I'm gonna be y'all guinea pig and I'm gonna try it out. And that way you guys can figure out if you wanna try it or not. But to be honest, looking at her up close and personal, I'll be 100% true with y'all. She looks like something that I have in my collection. Not together as a color story, but like if I grab like random palettes, I'm pretty sure I can find at least one of these eyeshadows in random palettes in my collection that I have right now. The only thing that I was caught off by surprise, because I know about new releases, but I don't be like studying them like, and just when I seen this palette, I was like, oh cool, they changed the format. Oh, good, two big transition colors, right? Because that's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, ooh, this would be a good highlight and a good transition. No, so technically these are supposed to be two blushes. So right then off the back, I was like, okay, they weren't thinking about the Melanie, because neither one of these are going to compliment me. I may be able to slightly, not do me slightly, get away with this one, but definitely this one is not going to do anything to me. But that's okay. That's okay, because these can still be used as an eyeshadow. So let's get started. Okay, so I already prepped and primed my eyes. I have on Juvia shade number 1 on the eyes, and I do have on my cut crease stencils. We're gonna look and see if this can be a brow bone highlight for me. I'm cheating today as per usual. I have one set highlight brow bone color and I'm gonna stick to hers. I thought of when I seen this palette for someone around my skin tone. I feel like we only have good 2 eyeshadows in here that's gonna deepen up our crease areas. That is these 2 colors right here. But we have other like transition crease colors. Like this can be used as one, this one, and then the rest of the eyeshadows are good lid colors. Because of the shade and the formulas of them, they're not gonna be crease colors. But this one came broken, so I'm holding her in a weird angle because I don't want her to spill. And I will say this too, this palette is very sensitive. Like I think I slightly tapped it on my desk and that's where it shattered, because I bought this in person, so it didn't come to me like this. And I'm like, dang, I barely tapped it. So I will say, if you guys do get this palette, to get it in person, because it's very fragile, like for real fragile. And I know Anastasia is known, especially if you order from Ulta, they're known for coming broken. Like, trust me, get her in person if you possibly can. So I'm gonna start off with the deep shade, of course. So we're going in with this color. It's called Deep Berry. So I'm gonna pop this in my crease. She's a really pretty deep color, so I'm gonna take this color now to help blend it out. This one is more pigmented. Oh, this color's like really deep. Okay, sis, okay. This is what we have so far. This actually blended out very nice. I was kind of like scared with the first shade because it was kind of not patchy, but not the buttery. All right, so I cut my crease off camera, of course. Now for the lid. It's some really pretty metallic shades in here, but my eyes keep going towards this broken one, that orange copper looking color, this gold right here. So this must be like the new formula. It's like that cream texture again that I've been seeing lately in these new palettes. So it's creamy to the point you don't have to like wet your brush. Like it comes on pretty creamy on its own. So wetting the brush would be an option. So I think I'm gonna go halfway with this color. So now I'm gonna go in with that like orangey copper color. Now it makes sense on how this was so fragile when it came to these eyeshadows because of the formula they are. Because like even me putting it on, this is definitely not a palette to use if your face is already done. So this is a palette you use. Start your eyes first before putting on your face stuff. Because I am getting a lot of fallout from the metallic eyeshadows, which is fine because I always do my eyes first. Quickly, I'm just gonna, I wanted to try out these blush colors. I forgot about it. Otherwise I would have put more colors in my crease. But I think what happened is I wasn't expecting for that transition color to be such a very bold deep color. Like it looks deep in the pan, but I just thought it was gonna come off soft. But I think that's where I would, yeah. But I'm gonna go in with that deep berry color. And I'm just gonna put it in the outer part of my so my face is halfway on. I went in with Glow Up. I keep calling it Glow, it's not Glow. Glow Recipe. This is the Banana Moisturizer Cream. And then for primer, I went in with my BH Cosmetic Primer. Then to set my face, I went in with my Derma Blend. Yes, honey. And then for foundation today, I have on NARS. I know I gotta wear foundation at least 3-4 times so I can get the full feel of it. And then concealer underneath my eyes, chin, and down the bridge of my nose. I have on the lip bar. This is the Mocha Caffeine Concealer. So before I completely do the rest of my face, I want to put a little bit of concealer on, not concealer, but Juvia underneath my eye. So that way the eyeshadow is gonna have something to stick to. All right, and then I'm gonna go in, I think I'm gonna go in a different shade because I wanna use more colors. So that, let's see, what color do you wanna go for? Okay, I'm gonna go in with this one, just halfway, but and then I wanted to take a little bit of this shade right here. I'm gonna put that in the remaining of my lash line. I feel like it didn't really make a difference. They kind of like blend together. So that didn't go as planned. I'm gonna add my Inner Popper Bling Bling. So I'm gonna go in with this color right here. So I'm gonna go in with my glitter glue. I want that to get a little bit tacky before I put on the product. All right, so this is what we got going on so far. I'm gonna add a little bit of some black inside my waterline. I'm gonna add a little bit of mascara and then do the rest of my face, then come back, and then we're gonna talk about the final review and details about this palette, if I feel like you guys should get this palette or not. Here taking pictures, I was like, wait, my face looks, something looks different. Y'all, I ain't got no blush on, so for all over my face, I went in with the Maybelline setting powder, contour with Beauty Bakery Perfect Blend, highlight just the bridge of my nose with Blissful by Offray, which looks like this. I can't even show you guys without it wanting to pop out. And then on my lips, I have on Live Glam Gangster Rapper. All right, so I'm over here, I'm like, wait, something still looks different. Y'all, I forgot the blush. So I wanted to try out the blush in this palette to see if it does what it's supposed to do. Okay, so let's flip the hair back just a little bit. So I'm gonna go in with the obvious color, this orange, just to see if it's going to do what it's supposed to do for a blush. Okay, so I'm gonna pop this on. My hair keeps falling in my face and I don't have hairpins right now. Okay, I'm not mad at this color. I knew this was going to be a color that was going to semi-show, but I feel like it definitely deepened up just a little on the complexion, and you definitely can add to build up the color. So I will give her that. Okay, there we go. She's very orangey though, but I think I can say she's okay. All right, so now the final specs of this palette. Like I said in the beginning, I definitely feel like if you have like variety of different palettes in your collection, and you don't even really have to have a lot, but just like a basic neutral palette that has a little bit of like berry tones, a little bit of orange, and definitely these metallic, I'm pretty sure they're somewhere in your makeup collection. So do I honestly feel like you need this palette? No, not at all. I really do feel like I have this somewhere in my collection. And if you have a few of the Anastasia palettes from the past, I feel like I can definitely dip and dab and probably like do like swatches in a sense. I feel like there's a few modern renaissance eyeshadows in here. I feel like this purple could possibly be in the Norvina palette. Now that I'm speaking about it, I'm like, let me just grab them so I can see. All right, so let's do some comparison. I have a total of 4, well now 5 of Anastasia palettes, and I feel like I have like the popular ones. So I have the Modern Renaissance, I have Norvina, this is new, I have Jackie Aina, and I have Amrezy, and I also have Alyssa Edwards too, but I feel like the colors are not the same in the palette, so I didn't even bother grabbing that. For the Amrezy palette, I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison and just look at it and just see for myself. First shade that I do notice I feel like are very similar is the shade Anastasia that's in the palette, and then this one is the one I have on my inner tear duct, and it's called Rose Water. I do feel like they're very, very much similar. And again, this is from the new palette, and then this is the old palette. They are very, very, very similar without dropping them. And then I feel like this shade right here, I feel like she's a mixture of these right here. So I do feel like that's a repeat as well. This can be like a lighter version of this, but not quite really there. But that's pretty much the similarity from Amrezy palette. Looking at Jackie Aina compared to the new Anastasia palette, I would definitely say there's a lot of similarities into this palette. It's like they were remixing this palette. Okay, so I have a few that I want to talk about. So Rose Water with, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Soli. That's another, definitely a similarity color right here. Yeah, swatches. Yeah, sparkling amber, and then Zam is definitely a similar color as well. So here is them side by side. So this is Jackie palette, and then this is the new palette. Big blush color, I definitely feel like it's similar to Ginger mixed with edges that's in the Jackie Aina palette. Here is the similarities to the shades. So this is from the new palette. This is Jackie Aina, Ginger, and then this is Edges. Similarity, Pinker. This is from the Jackie Aina palette with Claret. I know I'm probably screwing these names up and I do apologize, but here is a side-by-side similarity. This is Jackie Aina, and this is from the new palette. Yes, similarity. Alert, alert, alert. All right, now here is Jackie Aina, and of course, the new palette. You can definitely see the similarities that I was talking about. So this shade definitely is identical to this one. Like this gold was definitely identical to this bottom shade. Kind of similar to this deep purple, but this one has more of a burgundy in it. This blush color can definitely bypass for one of these browns, like I said. And this can also bypass for one of these browns in the palette as well. And then the obvious identical color is this one compared to this one. Just from the Jackie Aina palette, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, roughly of the same 5 eyeshadows is in this palette, more than the Amrezy palette. So let's go on to Norvina. I haven't tried this palette out yet, so these swatches are going to be very different. Like I still got the plastic shield in here. Okay, so me just looking at this, so I see 3 similar colors in the palette. Obviously this pink one with this pink, they look very similar. Finger swatch of the first 2. I will say this one kind of passed for this one. They're not identical, but similar. I thought the pinks were similar, but they're definitely different. This one has more of a pink tone to it, but y'all get what I'm saying. They're in the same family. And again, this orangey brown, definitely am getting this vibe. The electric, I'm already seeing it just by the swatch. It's not similar once you swatch it. This one has more of a musty undertone to it, like a musty yellow undertone. So that's, it's not identical, but you can see similarities in this palette. I want to say there's about a good 3, maybe 2, 3 similarities in this palette that's mixed with the new palette. And then the last one, the Modern Renaissance. That was the first thing I thought of when I seen this palette. I was like, that looks like Modern Renaissance mixed with Jackie Aina. Like, that was my first instant when I first seen the palette. But definitely a lot more of Modern Renaissance. And you guys can see the similarities right off the back. Right off the bat. Where do I begin? First shades I feel like it's similar is this. It's right here. First one is Modern Renaissance, and then this is the new formulated palette. The orange are similar. We're with that blush color, side by side swatches. The palette swatches, and in this, do I feel like you need this if you have these other palettes? No. But if you're a fan of Anastasia or a fan of collecting palettes, or you want to update the palettes that you have from Anastasia, you want to update them, because I do feel like this one has a more higher quality compared to the other one. So this is definitely more pigmented, especially these frosty metallic shades, on a whole nother level. Like, they are creamy, they're buttery, they're really formulated perfect. Okay, and then the mattes are a little bit, you know, a little bit better, but pretty much the same formula. But overall, I feel like these definitely should have been chopped in half, and we should have had 2 more other eyeshadows. Like a nice black would have been perfect in here, and a nice rich dark chocolate brown would have been perfect in here. I don't feel like we needed these blushes, like not at all, not at all. And for this palette to be so much more pricier compared to all of these palettes right here, because the pans are bigger, I definitely feel like if you are going to get this palette, catch this one is on sale. Do not pay full price for this at all, because I don't feel like it's worth almost, what, $50 for this palette? Not at all. Another thing to keep in mind if you guys are interested on buying this palette, like I said, definitely catch it on sale, because if you think about it, compare the prices in the formula to the other palettes, you're getting a lot more eyeshadows in the classic Anastasia palettes compared to this, and this one is more pricier. That's another thing I want to put out there. Like, even if they was to make these 2 blushes into 2 more eyeshadows, it's still not the same amount of eyeshadows that you get in the classic Anastasia palette. So that is just a little side note and all that. If it wasn't for me doing reviews and stuff on YouTube, I don't think I would personally would have bought this palette. But I will say she is a good palette. I just feel like if you have the other Anastasia palettes, you do not need her at all. if you have something similar in your collection, you don't need her at all. This one was a little bit more tougher to blend out as well. I just want to put that out there. But everything else was good. The blush is okay. It's not my ideal of a blush tint. And then if someone who is deeper than me, like they can't use neither one of these blushes, like it's not going to do anything for them. So I just felt like if they was going to do like blushes inside of a palette, they should have more of color ranges and something that's going to complement every skin complexion. So maybe a nice little red tone would have been good. Not fully like red, but like a burgundy red. That would have been perfect to have in there, because I would have definitely complemented the deeper complexion. But they didn't do that. But anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video review gave you guys an input and something to help you decide if you guys need this palette or not. So let me know y'all decision. If y'all gonna get this palette after watching this, let me know. And if you guys already have it, how do you guys feel about this palette? I do see myself using, of course, quite often because of the shade ranges in here. So she's not a bad palette. I just feel like she's definitely overpriced for what she is because of the name title. But she's still a good like eyeshadow palette, if that makes sense. I just feel like if you got the other ones and you're not a makeup palette hoarder, or you're not an Anastasia fan like me, then you don't need her. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow with another banger. Bye.